I've spent the last 2 weeks trawling through Trading212 to find you all of the 32 stocks, ETFs, and investments that pay you dividends every single month for a second passive income, with some of them paying as much as 19% a year. But along with that, I've pulled all of the data, the industries, the yields, the returns, the ratios, and I'm going to pull it all together and compare their performance to see exactly which companies have the best historical growth and the highest dividends. So by the end of this video, you'll have a good idea of what you can invest in to build yourself a monthly second passive income. So let's get started. Now, the first question is, do you need monthly dividends? And the answer is no. There are many investments that will pay you dividends yearly, 6-monthly, or quarterly. But what I like about dividends in general is the flexibility they give you. Instead of buying a share you have to hold for 20 years, dividends gives you the option of income that you can use to pay off debts or reduce monthly expenses, to put towards a holiday, or even to reinvest that money into other options when the opportunity arises. So dividends give me the option to strategically place my investments with free cash flow and hopefully get better returns over time. And if you build it enough, a second passive income can even help you to financially retire. So today I'm going to show you all of the investments that pay you monthly dividends on Trading212 and then break down some of the key data using Simply Wall Street to give you more information to decide which one is right for your portfolio. And along the way, I'll show you the 3 stocks that I personally already own and invest in. Now, before we start, just remember that I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice or a recommendation. I'm just sharing some data, but it's important to do your own research before making any investment decision. Remember, dividends are not guaranteed and values can go up as well as down. Okay, so these right here are the 32 companies that I found on Trading212 that pay you dividends every month. So there they are, and I must say it takes quite a while to track them down, so if you appreciate the information, please remember to like the video. Now, some of these names you might know, but some of them you might not, and either way, what we've got right now is a bit of a data dump. We have 32 names, but we have no way of knowing anything about them or how to decide if any of them are good performers, how much they each pay monthly, or whether it's a good option to invest in them for the long term. But luckily, I've done all of that for you. So let's take a look at these again, but with another 4 key performance metrics added in. On the left, we have the dividend percentage or dividend yield. And although these pay monthly, this figure shows you how much each pays in total a year. So if it's 10% a year and you invest £100, it will pay you £10 a year. Then we have the 1-year and 5-year share price performance, so how much the stock price has grown or shrunk within that time. It doesn't help getting 10% dividends if the share price is dropping 30% a year. And lastly, we have the price to earnings ratio or PE ratio. You get this number by dividing the share price by the earnings. And this number gives you an indicator of whether the stock is well valued, and what that number should be varies by industry. But simply put, a higher number suggests the stock price can be expensive as you're paying more for the same earnings than a stock with a lower number. So high number bad, low number good, that's the general rule of thumb. Now, I've been using Simply Wall Street for the last 3 years to manage my portfolio, and I've used it to populate all of this data in the table at the time of recording. So we have our data, and I must say, not all stocks are created equal. Some of these have losses of 36% in 1 year or 76% loss in 5 years. Also, if you see a negative PE ratio, it means the company is not profitable. Now, I want to show you some realistic options and actual stocks that are options to invest in. So I've taken time to remove any stocks with negative long-term share prices or negative PE ratios. So this final table are stocks with decent dividends, relatively stable prices, and positive PE ratios. So in my view, these are realistically 12 monthly dividend options that we can consider. Now, just before we get there, I've been using Simply Wall Street regularly for the last 3 years, and if you've been on the channel, you've seen me talk about it and use their data in my research and decisions because it's something I enjoy and trust. So it's really cool that Simply Wall Street is now an affiliate partner of the channel. So Simply Wall Street acts as your portfolio command center. It can link directly to a Trading212 portfolio from a premium plan and updates in real time whenever you buy or sell shares. And the coolest part for me that I've been using for years is it gives you a breakdown of your portfolio as a whole. It shows your value, your returns. It shows the levels of your dividends, value, future, past, and portfolio health. So mine is an established income portfolio which is undervalued, which is great. But the part I use the most is for dividends. This tab shows me my estimated dividends for the next 12 months, my monthly income and current dividend yield, as well as my yield on cost when I bought the shares. And if you scroll down, it shows you dividend detail for each investment and the declared and estimated payments for each month with dates going forward years. I also use it to research my stocks before I buy them. So, like with EPR Properties here, you can see just how much detail you can get for your research. So, in our link below, you can get a free account, but you can also get an extended 14 days free trial for premium or unlimited. And if you want to try these plans, you get a 30% off all plans on top of the 14-day free trial. So if you want to try out Simply Wall Street for free or to use the discount, then check out the link in the description. So we have 3 categories of stocks here. Essentially, we have 6 real estate stocks, 4 ETFs, and 2 business development companies. First, the business development companies, or BDCs, which are Main Street Capital and Gladstone Investment. Ironically, their ticker symbols are MAIN and GAIN. Honestly, these have been quite appealing to me. You've got high dividends of 7% and 10% a year. Both of them have share price growth over the 5 years of 72% and 17%, and they both have the lowest PE ratios of the lot, which is good at 9 and 4. Since 2010, both of them have had solid and consistent share price growth, which is very appealing to me. And of course, they pay dividends monthly, so these are definitely options I would consider. Also, I've created a watch list for you of all of these stocks with Simply Wall Street, so if you want to do your own research on any of these, just look for that link in the description and it will give you a list of all of them to dive deeper. Then we have 4 ETFs. Now, let's talk about these because these are a bit different. None of them are typical ETFs you are used to. They don't generate dividends just from stocks. They use sell and call options to generate income which you get as dividends, or SMIF that invests in global bonds in more complex areas of the debt market. Now, these are complex financial strategies that take a while to explain, but just to make it simple, you don't typically see huge share price growth over the long term with these. For all of them, they stay pretty much the same over the long term with fluctuations in between. But where they really shine is in their dividend percentages, with the lowest JEPI at 8% and the highest QYLD at 11%. So these don't grow well, but you'll get good dividends and good passive income. For me, I personally have £1,600 invested in QYLD, and it pays me about £200 a year or £16 a month, as it has the highest dividends. Now, the last section is a very common one for monthly income, and it's the real estate investment trusts, or REITs, because investment properties typically receive monthly rental and it's easy for them to pay dividends monthly, and these are 6 companies with fairly good results. For PE ratio, the lowest are Stag with 26 and EPR with 25, so the lower the better. Then 5-year share price growth, the 2 highest are Phillips Edison with 36% and EPR again with 41%. Then 1-year growth, the 2 highest are Realty Income with 20% and again EPR with 21%. And lastly, the dividends, with the 2 highest being LTC with 5.8% and EPR again with 6.1%. Now, if you look closely, you can see a pattern here, which is that EPR Properties has the best performance in every single category, highest growth, best value, and highest dividend yield. Now remember, past performance doesn't guarantee future performance, but so far it's showing great results, and this stock is another one in my portfolio that I've been investing in. So I have £1,700 invested with some good returns, and it pays me about £100 a year or £8 a month. Apart from that, I think less than 4% dividends isn't really too worth it, but Phillips Edison and Agree Realty have both had good share price growth, so maybe that's the best of both worlds. Then Stag, Realty Income, and LTC, if I look at the long-term share graphs, are all good options for a long-term investment. Out of those, I personally have an investment in Realty Income with £1,900 and it pays about £100 a year or £8 a month. Now, if you want to see my full portfolio, I have it linked with Simply Wall Street as well, so I'll put the link in the description and you can view my full portfolio with all my stocks and income. So if you want to get your free trial or 30% off or just to check out the monthly dividend list or my portfolio, all the links are below. So there you have it. Those are the 12, I would say, realistic options for investments that pay you monthly income on Trading212. I think the REIT and BDCs can be good options for long-term investments, and the ETFs offer good higher income. And like I said, I personally invest in EPR Properties, Realty Income, and QYLD. But do your own research and see which one, if any, suits your needs and your portfolio. But that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and please like the video and subscribe to see more videos like this and more from my portfolio. YouTube thinks you'll like this video next, and I'll see you next time, as always, on Casual Cash. Cheers.